I'm David Kano with Tapout and Chill. It's our very first video podcast of Tapout and Chill. You know MMA Now TV, you know the daily doses, which have been Monday through Friday. If you don't know, check those out. But the reason why we're here and we're starting number one with Chris the Heat Van Heerden, because this guy's been in the news the past week. How have you been doing this past week? And how big has the media been over the past week?
So, start, I just want to say thank you for having me. Thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure and honor to be on the show with you guys. And this last 10 days, the last 2 weeks, it's just blown up. And it's been huge. People want to do interviews and talk about me and get my 2 cents about my side of the story. So, it's been an exciting 10 days.
Now, let's just jump right into it. You are the former IBO world champion, the former IBF
International.
international champion, 24
And two.
2 and is it 1? 24 2 and 1, 12
24,
knockouts.
2 and 1, 12 knockouts.
And before this time, you've kind of been under the radar. How has that transition been for you being in the media?
I'm born and raised from South Africa, and you're on the downside of the world where you don't get a lot of attention. Media doesn't really go out that way, and I had to make a decision whether I'm going to come to America or not. And I knew I had to pack my bags and come here and give it my best shot and be around superstars like Conor McGregor, like in the boxing world, like the Freddie Roaches, the Miguel Cottos, and get my name out. And that's exactly what I've done. And all of a sudden, people are recognizing and asking questions. Who's this kid? And I feel this is something I deserve even a while ago.
Now, I looked you up. I mean, you fought actually Errol Spence, and I just saw him fight Chris Algieri, and I actually thought Algieri was going to upset Errol Spence, and boy, I was grossly wrong. And you were in the ring with Errol, and you went longer than.
Me as well, believe it or not. I told everyone, you know what, Chris Algieri might just give Errol Spence trouble because of his movement and his volume of punches, and that showed, and this is what I want to get out here. I hope people see that him walking right through Chris Algieri the way he did, and Manny Pacquiao couldn't knock him out. He dropped him 7 times, but couldn't knock him out. The way Chris Algieri just destroyed, the way Errol Spence just destroyed Chris Algieri, and me taking him 8 rounds, that fight would have gone 10 rounds. I would have just taken 2 more rounds of beating, yes, but he wasn't going to knock me out. So that makes my loss to Errol Spence not look as bad as it did at the point.
Right. And before I'm going to touch on all that, let's get first into why you've been thrust into that limelight. Conor McGregor, the biggest star in the UFC, and as you said, since Floyd retired, the biggest star in combat sports
Fighting.
right now, currently. And you sparred him with 10 days ago.
Yeah. We started about 2 weeks ago.
Can you walk us through how that happened?
First, you know what? I respect Conor McGregor with all the respect I have. He is, like I said, now that Floyd Mayweather is retired, currently active as a fighter, Conor McGregor is the biggest name in the fighting world. He is. He's the biggest name in UFC. He's the biggest name we're talking about. So he's the biggest name in the world, and I respect him, and I have no disrespect to him. And 10 days ago, I met Conor McGregor in the gym. It happened also quickly. I didn't even know it, but the man approached me, and I was asked if I'd be able to assist with a few rounds of sparring.
So who approached you for how did that?
I was in the gym at Box and Burn in Santa Monica, and friends in the gym.
And you just wait. You just had flown in from South
yes,
Africa.
I was in the country for about 3 days,
Okay.
and I was asked by one of the guys in the gym asked me, "Are you already back in sparring?" I was like, "No, I just landed 3 days ago. I'm still recovering."
After your fight in April.
Yes,
win
I was
over
after the win over Claggett in April 16th. I went back home to South Africa, took a nice vacation, saw my family, came back to America 3 days later, back in the gym, and one of the guys in the gym threw it kind of out there to have in sparring mode, and they were like, "Are you back in sparring already?" And I said, "No, not yet." And they were like, "Oh, okay, because there's someone that would like to spar with you." And I asked who. They said, "Don't worry, they'll be here just now." And the next moment, Conor McGregor walks into the gym. So with my surprise, he's a superstar, I was like, wow. I was like, this must be him.
Right.
And I met Conor. Honestly, what a gentleman. What a nice man to talk to. What a nice man to be in his company. And he asked me to if I would mind to assist him with a few rounds of sparring on a few occasions. And I'm a fighter. No fighter is afraid of fighting. Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing this. So my first response was yes, yes, yes. And I thought I have to go home and go quickly fetch my gear. But they said they'll phone me in a day. So come and they phoned me the very next day. And that's how it started.
Can you say who was that approached you in the gym? You said at Boxing.
One of the trainers, one of the trainers in the gym, Kyle.
And was it you specifically that Connor wanted to spar? That you were
Well,
you?
by the time he said no, Connor knows about this. So I assume obviously Connor knew who I was because they needed a left-handed fighter, and by the time I met Connor, Connor was like, I know, you got a good name, and so I assume he knew.
Okay, so you're assuming that he had done some research or his
Then
team had done
yeah,
research
some sort of research.
on you. And now, so it happened. You walk in the you're in the gym. He walks in. You meet him, and you're what is the first?
Overwhelmed. I was overwhelmed. This is a superstar. This is Conor McGregor. I'm overwhelmed. I'm from South Africa. We only see these people on TV. You never think you'll meet them in real life. I was overwhelmed by his energy, by his humbleness. Really, by his humbleness, by what nice of a man he is. That's the first thing that impressed me.
What are the first words that are exchanged? Do you remember that between you two?
No, I can't remember exactly. I remember. I think my words were, "Nice to meet you, champ." I think that was my words. And his energy is just amazing.
He's from Ireland, obviously has an Irish accent. You have South African. Is it easier for you guys to understand, or is
Yeah,
it
you know what? In fact,
than American English?
yes. There's an Irish girl in the gym as well. So I'm so used to Irish accent by now. It was easy for me to understand Connor, and I'm sure he could understand me as well.
Well, let's talk about the sparring match now. You're there. Is there any? I've seen from the gyms I've been in sparring from 50% to 70, and I've even seen guys go 100%, and then if they hurt someone, they just obviously back
Yes,
off.
you know what?
What was your game plan?
Sparring. I know the question on everyone's lips is, can Conor McGregor box? The man can box. He's got I didn't know this. Only found it afterwards. Conor McGregor's got a amateur boxing background. He's an Irish champion. Stand up is his game. I spoke to him and he said, you know what? I enjoy stand up. He knows how to box. Can he box? Yes, he can box. Does he know how to move around in the ring? Yes, he does. He's a fighter. He's the biggest name in the world of fighting. Obviously, he knows how to fight. Sparring is sparring for a reason. There's no need to go out there and destroy. We've got to learn from each other. And that's exactly what this sparring was about. It was about moving around, trading a few punches, and getting comfortable and learning. So there was no intention of hurting from either side. So it was I would say it was a 50% pace of sparring. It was really controlled.
Now, him being an MMA fighter, and if say you were to spar a boxer, and we'll talk about the guys you sparred from Miguel Cotto, Canelo Alvarez. Was it different from you from a standpoint like this guy's not a pro boxer?
I could immediately tell that his main training was not boxing. Even though he's good at boxing, don't get me wrong. But people's got to understand this. This is how I break it down. A professional fighter as a boxer, his main focus is 100% on his stand-up game, on his hands. That's where my focus is. So day in, day out, I train on my boxing, on my ability to fight with my hands stand-up. Where an MMA fighter, his attention varies from hand to feet to grappling. So it's not all there. So getting in the ring with an MMA fighter to just do complete stand-up, I could tell that he's not a full-time professional fighter, stand-up, but he does know how to handle himself.
Right. So from your standpoint, did you pull back on the pedal a little bit, knowing that
There was points where I felt there's no need to throw big punches where I could, but it was competitive. The sparring was good. Like I said, Conor surprised me in the fact that he knows how to stand up fight. He knows how to weigh. He's got a few moves. He's doing a little shoulder roll. So I could immediately pick up that he's got some sort of boxing background. But I could see a lot of flaws where I could also see in the same time while I was sparring with him, I could see why he's an MMA champion in the sense of going to the ground where he could be so dangerous.
Right.
But to answer your question, did I see the gaps? Yes, I saw them because that's what I do as a fighter. We look for that as to a real professional stand-up boxer that wouldn't make mistakes like that. But then again, the sparring was competitive. It was good sparring.
Now you showed me you did 6 rounds with Conor, correct?
On 2 occasions, yes.
Oh, so okay, you sparred him on 2 separate occasions.
Yes.
You showed me a clip, a 2-minute clip. What round was that from?
That was on the second occasion. Once we'd done the first session and I went back home and had a few days in the gym. That was on the second occasion and that was about round 3, 2, 3.
Now, in my opinion, before we get into the whole Mayweather McGregor thing, is obviously there's been talk about that, but let's talk about that quick clip that you showed me. I had a different opinion, like, well, what could Conor do? I mean, there's not much I could do, but when you showed me what you were able to do, going about 50%, it gave me a whole new perspective of from just a hand standpoint. To me, there was a night and day difference. Did you feel that?
Yes, and it showed, and yeah, I showed you.
And you said his best punch is his counter left.
Look, he is his counter left. His precision and timing on his counter left punch is good at that. I can see why he catches and why that's such a big punch for him in the MMA world, and especially with 4-ounce mitts. His countering punch, his precision on timing is beautiful.
Now, as far as I saw you get touched once for out of a couple minutes, maybe a couple times. You talked about his power before, but how did it? What did you feel on that end?
I'm getting a lot of ride on this because of what I said. So this is what I'm going to say again. I'm going to tell the truth. That is 16-ounce gloves. That is like hitting me with a pillow. Okay, so I was not fazed by McGregor's power.
With headgear on.
With headgear on, with 16-ounce gloves, I was not fazed. What do you want me to say? Do you want me to say I got hurt? No, it's 16-ounce gloves. There's headgear. I was not fazed at all.
Now let's get into the Mayweather McGregor talk. I mean, this is why I kind of touched on this, the fact that for 2 minutes, it was an interesting matchup. I didn't know what to expect from what I saw, but after I saw that, it's like, wow, this whole 49-0 Mayweather, who in my mind, I don't think he's the best of all time. I think he's the best defensive fighter of all time, and I think, in my opinion, he's the smartest fighter of all time because he's able to adjust from round to round to round.
Yes.
From a pugilist standpoint, I can see that. I mean, yeah, he gets a lot of flack, obviously, for his style, but from a boxing as a sport,
the greatest of all time should go to not avoiding any fighter on their prime at any time, and that's the days of you look at your Cassius Clay, your Muhammad Ali, the Sugar Ray Leonards, the Roberto Duran, the Marvelous Marvel Nacker, the Heatman. Those guys did not avoid each other. They fought each other in the prime every time, any day. And that is when you should go back and say that's the era where you get the best fighters out of.
Right, Sugar Ray Robinson, maybe.
Yes.
But anyways, getting back to our point about the whole Mayweather thing, about maybe he's not the greatest of all time, but he's certainly in that talk on different fronts. But now you're talking about Conor McGregor, amateur boxer, UFC featherweight champ at 145, getting in the ring with just boxing against, what we already talked about. And I thought, well, from seeing that, there was really no business.
Yes, I'm going to agree with you. You asked me for my opinion, and this is how I feel. I'm a professional fighter. This is what I do for a living. So I'm going to say it straight away. Do I feel that it is fair for the whole McGregor-Mayweather fight to happen? No. Should this fight even happen? No. Because it's a 49-0 unbeaten, I don't know what, 6-7 times world champion Floyd Mayweather versus a guy that's 0-0 in the boxing scene of the world. How many times have McGregor went the distance of fighting 12 rounds? Now, you can't just get in.
We have a friend here who came in uninvited. It's under your chair. No. So
you can't just expect to jump in a ring and expect you're going to be able to smooth through 12 rounds.
Right.
It is not as easy. It's a whole different world. So do I feel that this fight should even happen? I don't.
As far well, yeah, but you said before we came on, would you pay to see this fight happen?
I will. I will. This fight's gonna sell huge money. If this fight happens, it will sell because of the amount of people behind Conor McGregor and the amount of people behind Mayweather and the whole argument between and the MMA fans and the boxing fans where we always go, you know what, an MMA fan doesn't stand a chance against a boxer in a boxing ring. This and vice versa. A boxer has nothing to lose in the octagon.
Right,
He's got nothing. He shouldn't be there. He's just gonna get hurt.
right.
But that's how I feel an MMA fighter should stick to what he does. And will the fight sell? Yes. Will I buy it? Yes. If I have to buy it, I will buy it. But I'll probably end up going to a friend and watching.
You'd probably be there. But as far as the numbers it would do, I predicted if this fight was to happen, I don't think it would do less than 2 million. I don't think it does what the Pacquiao numbers, which Floyd says he's a master promoter. He's like, this will be bigger than the Manny Pacquiao fight. I don't think it does 4.4 million. But what's your thoughts on the pay per view
Well,
rights?
if you look at how big Conor McGregor is, with the whole following Conor McGregor's God, and I think this might just do it. Honestly,
Really?
honestly, I do.
Exceed the 4.4?
Yes,
Wow.
I do. I believe this will sell, even though we get the days where we say, oh, we don't care, but this shouldn't happen. When this fight if it gets made, it will sell.
How do you see the fight going down if this fight happens? What happens? What round?
I'm I'm gonna get a lot of right on this, but I feel honestly, Mayweather will be able to pick whenever he wants to stop this fight. Wherever this fight has got to go, this is what Mayweather will do. If Mayweather wants it to be stretched out, Mayweather will stretch it out. If Mayweather wants it to be within 6, Mayweather will do that. Mayweather is just so good. And that's just my opinion. You know what? What is Conor McGregor's chances? He's got a puncher's chance. The man can throw his punches. It takes one punch in the box. In a fighting world, it takes one punch to change the whole game. I've seen it so many times in my career. I've seen it. I've experienced it. One punch can change the whole fight. Okay, what is Conor McGregor's chances? He's got one punch. You know, everything works for him on the night, and he lands that big shot. That's his chance.
But does he have a chance? I mean, you've seen Sugar Shane Mosley catch Floyd. We saw Maidana catch him with some hard heat. Do you think he'd be
Well, he is the bigger guy compared to Mayweather. I've met him in real life and I've seen him. He's quite a big man, Conor McGregor. You know, he's bigger than me, and Mayweather is small compared to him. So he might just pack the punch, that one punch power, big swing, land it. He might just have that power to do it. We wouldn't know because, like you said, we saw Sugar Shane Mosley. Wow, land a monster of a punch on Mayweather, and look how Mayweather just adjusted to that. Clever, grabbed the hands, recovered. So clever. It is hard to say whether Mayweather is Mayweather for. He's 49-0 for a reason.
for you? And what do you? And obviously, you don't put him. He doesn't. He hasn't fought people in the prime. I think he's coming around
Oh,
40 now, right?
yeah, it is. Look, we live in a boxing era right now where Mayweather is TBE. In the boxing era we are right now, Mayweather is the best ever. 49-0. He's beaten all of them. In this era, Mayweather is TBE.
Do you think every fight that he's fought, he's won against the? I thought
I
Marcos
think
Maidana won.
Marcus Maidana won. Wow, what a fight, man!
I
I
was
thought,
there.
I
It was
thought, I thought, I thought it was like 7-5. I thought Madonna done enough, but then again, people's got to understand this is it. Round 10, 11, and 12 was called championship rounds in a fight. In a championship fight, around 10, 11, and 12 was called the championship rounds, which you might not look as good in the early rounds, but if you can clearly dominate around 10, 11, and 12, because now you're reaching the end of the line, and the judges look at, okay, wait. Look at how this guy finishes. He finishes on a high note. What if this fight was 2 more rounds? So they look at the finish of it. So 10, 11, and 12 is championship rounds. You win 10, 11, and 12 convincingly. It confuses the judges. The first fight, man, I thought Madonna just did just enough.
Right. I mean,
And then I think it was the way back early in the career. I think when he fought Castillo, was it Castillo?
yeah, Jose Luis.
I think a fight.
Was it him or was it Diego Corrales?
Diogo
Diego
Corrales.
That's what it was.
Diego
Yeah, it's
Corrales, which is a
Corrales.
fight everyone is also complaining about. But hey, he's 49-0. That's on paper, it's on his record, and there's a reason why Mayweather is 49-0.
Would you fight Floyd?
Just pay me.
How
You jump the train. You jump the train. I'll fight anyone.
would you fare against Floyd? Would you fare better than Conor would?
Oh yeah.
That is a
Yeah.
stupid question.
Yes,
but
I would fare better than McCarr would. But then again, it's
Now-
Floyd Mayweather.
there's been some backlash, as you've said. Fox Sports, they did an article yesterday talking about Conor's Instagram posts and his Rolls Royce. He's like, I got brand new clothes, blah blah blah, and he hashtag money McGregor and watch out Floyd, and then they said something else where the writer thought that he was taking a shot at you.
Yes. You know what? I've shown nothing but respect.
You said he is.
I've showed nothing but respect to Conor, and still I'm sitting here and I'm respect the man. You know, I'm just saying it as it is. I have nothing but respect for Conor McGregor, and I was taking shots at no one. I was just saying it as it is, and I'm not gonna lie. And it was I think it started with that question whether Conor McGregor can punch, and someone, I don't know who it was, got another article out all over the internet where it says Chris Van Heerden says Conor McGregor punches like a, the B word.
Right.
And I was like, what is this? Go look at the interview. I've never mentioned that. And that's where it all started, because of someone looking for attention. Now, I've only respected Conor McGregor. I didn't get paid 1 cent to accompany him, to help him. I did it out of the goodwill. I did it because I respect him, and it's good for myself as well. So I didn't get paid or nothing. I owe no one nothing.
But did you take that as a shot from Fox's standpoint at you from Conor?
Yeah, I feel that it's stirring something that's not necessary. That's just what I feel.
Have you talked to Conor since?
I haven't, I haven't heard of no one, and I haven't seen him again.
Do you feel like there's going to be another sparring match or?
Well, my service is open. I'm like I said, I'm there to assist and help and learn at the same time. So if I do get a call to help him again, I will. I hope so.
I mean, right now this is a huge story, and so yesterday the media were talking about it again. Your name has come up a lot in the MMA and boxing realm. What else have you heard out there from off Twitter?
I woke up this morning to a few tweets where Nate Diaz is going at me. I don't know what that is about. Nate should ask me what I think about him before going at me. Telling he's going to beat me in a boxing ring. I like how the attention is going to me, because that's good. But Nate should ask me what I think about him. I like Nate. I was actually so happy for Nate when he beat Conor, because I love the underdog. That's what I do. I supported Nate. And then I woke up this morning and everyone was like, Nate is saying he'll smash you, this and that. Hey, man, any attention is good attention, right?
Right. So how is the? You said you've been kind of overwhelmed at first. Has that overwhelm turned to taking it in and embracing it?
Yes. You know what? I live by this. Like I told you when I walked in, I live by this verse. A lot of people miss the opportunity of success merely because they're afraid of taking risks in life. I'm going to say it again. A lot of people miss the opportunity of success because they're afraid to take risks in life. Now, when Conor McGregor approached me, I wasn't in sparring shape. I could have said no. And I wouldn't have sat here today. My whole world would have been something different. But because I took a risk and I said, yes, I'm going to do this no matter what. I'm going to help him. The last 2 weeks, it's been a blessing, man. It's just blown up. And it's now starting to settle in where I'm taking it all in, because in the beginning it was all too much. I was like, wow, this is happening so quick, so fast. My name, my accounts is just going crazy. I was like, wow. but it's all sinking in now. And it's like I said, don't be afraid to take a risk in life. You'll get all those people that will tell you no this, no that. Put them in your shoes and give them an opportunity to do exactly that and see what they do. I promise you, 99% of them is gonna do it. But just because you got that opportunity, they will tell you no. Take that risk in life. You're gonna get the guys that support you. You're gonna get the guys that doesn't support you. Count your blessings. I don't call it luck. When someone tells me you're lucky, I don't believe in such thing as luck. You are blessed. You are truly blessed. See it as a blessing, and you'll see how your life changes.
Actually, I agree 100% with that. When people tell me, "Hey, good luck," if I know them well, I'll tell them there's no such thing as like
Okay.
if I don't know them, I feel like it's a little disrespectful for me. Like, well, there's no such thing as luck. And
Well,
then
you
there's,
know what? I leave a seed. I like to leave a seed in someone's mind. When I'm in a room, like you just said, man, I will leave a seed and I will say, you know what? Thanks, buddy. But you know what? See that luck as a blessing. Think about that. And then start counting your blessings. Every day you walk out, start counting how many times you've actually been blessed instead of calling it luck. Because if you call something luck in life, you kind of make it that one time thing where it happened by accident, by luck. So you're not expecting anything more. Turn that luck into a blessing and say, you know what, I've been blessed today. And start counting your blessings that day and see how many blessings you actually, how many luck you really got that day.
right,
So
because
do that.
for me, luck is like, well, why should one person be luckier than the other? Like to me, where does that play into this whole the bigger realm? Like that's not. I know life
You know what?
isn't fair, but to me that
Yeah.
let,
The decisions you make today depends on the outcome of tomorrow.
let's talk a little the justice come down. A little MMA versus boxing. All right, we've touched. A lot of people have touched on this. James Toney made the transition for one fight, went past his career against Randy Couture. Did you watch that
No,
fight?
no, I didn't.
It was in the UFC title fight. He got his one, not a title fight. It was against non-title fight. He got his one shot, and he didn't get one punch off against Randy Couture. Randy Couture single-legged him, took him down, and that was it.
That was it.
So you have two different mediums. Is one better than the other?
Both are on the highest level in their own ground. MMA, there's so much. My brother, in fact, my brother back in South Africa is the EFC heavyweight MMA champion. So
What's his name?
Donnie Van Heerden. Donnie Van
Donnie
Heerden.
Van
He's the
Heerden.
EFC heavyweight champion. Now, EFC has currently signed a few. UFC has currently signed a few EFC fighters from South Africa, like Soldier Boy, Ruan Potts. My brother has just won the EFC.
So he might be in the UFC.
So you know what? He might defend his title once or twice, and he might get a contract to come in the UFC. So, and I respect him for that. There's so much in the MMA world. You don't really realize how much goes into it, into the technique and the skill wise, because you got to be clever. All the moves, all the grappling, this and that. When boxing is in a whole other different world, it's on a high level on its own. But also, boxing is like a chess match. You got to move off someone's mistake. It's a movement. You in there in round one. It's not about just throwing punches. That's not what it's about. After round one, you got to know, look here, this guy's got a beautiful straight left. I got to do something because he keeps catching me. You got to adjust to it and find a way to counter on whatever he's got. So both sports in their own way is on the top level, and it's two different levels. A boxer should not be in the octagon with an MMA fighter. I will not step in the octagon. I'm not. I'm gonna be the first guy to tell you I'm gonna get hurt because I won't know what to do in there. I will not. But to get an MMA fighter that's not even a professional fighter and challenge you in a 12-round stand-up fight, well, I'm gonna say let's do it and find out if it's as easy as you make it seem.
Do you think that one? I know on the MMA side, MMA fighters say, well, for instance, McGregor told ESPN that, well, I'm going to put away my jiu-jitsu if I fought Floyd, put away my wrestling, put away my Muay Thai and whatnot, and there's just one medium. Is it harder? But then you got Bruce Lee who said, I fear the man that hasn't practiced 20,000 kicks one time. I fear the man that's
There's
thrown
one kick,
one kick
20,000 times.
20,000 times.
Yes.
So as far as from that training aspect, what are your thoughts?
This is what I'm going to say to you. If Conor McGregor gets in a training camp, 10-week training camp or whatever training camp they do, and they take away all the attention from the kicking and the jiu-jitsu and all of that stuff, and they merely focus on Conor McGregor's boxing skill and polishes his boxing skill, you will see a different Conor McGregor stand-up game. Because I can see the amateur background. So he's got it. He just needs to be polished. Still doesn't beat Floyd. But don't be the boxing fans should not be surprised if Conor McGregor gives a lot of names out there in the boxing world a run for their money in the stand-up game. If the attention is focused to Conor McGregor's stand-up alone
Boxing.
and you polish it, Conor McGregor knows how to use his hands. I'll say it again. He's not uneducated in the boxing world. He's got something there. You can immediately see it, and I saw it.
Let's talk real quick about the feasibility of this. First, it's been just big rumors. It started with Floyd Sr. saying something in England to an English, I think it was the Mirror or something of that, did the Daily. And so Floyd Jr. was saying, hey, this is not completely rumors. It might be true.
Yes, I saw it.
And so it's been this back and forth banter. And Dana White has said, if you want to fight Conor, Floyd, call me. Dana hasn't completely denied it, and then Fox Sports came out, which said, Colin Cowherd said, it's going to happen September 17th in Las Vegas. I've already booked my room. I'm like, wow, ESPN, one of their basketball analysts, said it's going to happen. Then we talked to Yahoo Sports, and they're saying his sources say it's not going to happen.
September 17th is what I've seen as well, and the rumor I've seen as well is September 17th. It's going to happen. I saw the interview with Mayweather, and they said there's a rumor going around that you and Conor might have a fight, and Floyd's answer was, you know what? I might have started that rumor.
Right.
And I was like, hey, what? You know what? This might just happen.
So what are your thoughts? Do you think this fight happens?
I do. If I look at the numbers and I'm looking at how many people want this to happen and the numbers it will bring in, still I feel it's unfair. I think somehow it's going to happen. There's just so many questions. Like, for example, does Conor McGregor have a Las Vegas boxing license? Does he have that already? Once Conor McGregor can show, look, I've got my boxing license. Oh, man. Can you imagine people then talking and believing that this fight might really just happen?
And Mayweather actually, or Conor tweeted a photo, a face-off between him and Floyd, which is fueled speculations.
Not one of them has denied it.
No one's denied it.
Not one has denied the rumor.
We've talked about this last week on MMA Now TV, where how does this happen? And from my standpoint, there's only a couple ways. It would either, the most feasible would be a co-promotion. It would have to be obviously a Mayweather Promotions with a UFC type thing, where UFC has done this in the past. They haven't done it in probably 10 years, 8, where they've done a co-promotion with another MMA, Pride, but they bought Pride, so it's a mute point. But that would be one way to do it, and the only other way is for Conor to get out of the contract, which is that's not going to happen. Yeah, how do you see something like this?
Oh, you know what? I don't want to answer that because I'm uneducated in that, but I see it probably go down as like a Mayweather promotion with combined with a UFC something somehow. But they'll figure out a way to
Would you fight boxing on the undercard, maybe an MMA fighter?
Why not? If they pay me, this is why we do this. We do this is my job. Fighting is my job. I fight to make a living.
Is there an MMA fighter that you like say, hey? No, I'm just curious. Is there someone that you like would throw a name in the hat that like I'd fight?
You know what? Let's just say if anyone challenges me and I think the money is good and let's do it.
Doesn't matter the name. You don't have one.
Well, we just got to kind of be in the same. We just got to make the same weight division.
Weight division, right?
Yeah, of course. I'll say in a boxing match, let's go.
Anybody.
Let's go.
Now, for me, being a fan of the pugilists as a kid, there was no MMA in the late 80s, early 90s, really, because UFC was unattainable. You had to be watching a pay-per-view and the whole nine. So from my standpoint, what I've seen is now covering it professionally. From the boxing, the striking standpoint, the MMA fighters they don't put together. They'll throw like a 1-2, and then they'll stop, or some kicks. And to
And
me,
just brawling, wild throws, wild punches here and there. If they catch you, they'll just go out man and swing.
do you feel they're not putting together like
They're
three,
not.
four,
This is
five,
what they.
six, seven
This
punch
is the word you should.
combinations?
That's it. They are not putting together combination. They don't think like a boxer thinks. A boxer thinks 3, 4, 5 punches. Boxer thinks double jab, over and left, come back with a right hand to the body. Combinations. We think where we want to place it. Before we throw it, we know what we're going to throw. Where I feel an MMA fighter, like you just said, throws that 1-2. 1-2, and I hope to land 1-2. And when they do land, they just maul you and they just go wild. And MMA is dangerous. You get more injuries in MMA than boxing. I will agree with that because you got 4-ounce mitts and it's just crazy. But a boxer thinks combination. That's why I'm giving it all to Mayweather versus Conor, because a boxer thinks about combinations, putting the punches together, not just a 1-2. 1-2 is in his scenario, but 1-2, come back with a right to, come back with a straight left. We think about combination before we throw them. We know we're gonna throw 4, 5, 6 punches, whatever, but we know what we're throwing.
Right. Like for instance, Junior Dos Santos, he was a former UFC heavyweight champion. He actually said, and he's known that to have some of the best boxing as in the heavyweight division in UFC in MMA. And Stipe Miocic, he just became champ. I don't know if you saw against Fabricio Verdum. He was the Golden Gloves. But Junior Dos Santos said something where like I get in the ring with Vladimir Klitschko, and I'm like, well, since then he's been knocked out or TKO'd. Is when those type of names are thrown out there, is it a huge stretch coming from a boxing background?
Yes, coming from an
Yeah,
MMA.
from you thinking like, wow, this guy said that, and he doesn't maybe not understand. Maybe they're not understanding.
Yes. I think that's one bite too big. You're biting off too much to chew. If you think like that, I would I would advise any MMA fighter that wants to call it a big name like that, rather start lower and see how you fare there. Then get realistically the experience of whether, hey, do I really do I stand a chance? But I think it's all about calling out these big names because they know the money is there, and that's it, hoping to land a big shot.
Right. All right. We've talked a lot about Money May and Money Mac. Let's talk about Chris Van Heerden. Your background, you're from South Africa, but the big fight that stood out, obviously was the Errol Spence. I mean, we touched upon that in the beginning. We talked beforehand prepping of some issues that came up when you fought
Yeah,
Errol.
first,
The first fight against Algeria was the first time I've seen him, and I was like, wow, this guy's a monster.
yeah,
Because I've seen Algeria take punishment from Pacquiao, Amir Khan,
Ruslan Provodnikov
right?
came
Oh,
back to beat him,
Provodnikov and beat. So it's for Errol Spence to stop Algeria.
destroy him. He toyed with him, destroyed him in 5 rounds. That's what he did. We fought on the same night. He fought April 16th, and I fought April 16th in Vegas. And when I got the news that he just destroyed Chris Algieri in 5, I was shocked because I expected Chris Algieri to do better. I was like, what? And they were like, no, he destroyed him. And I was like, you know what? That makes my loss look so much better right now. And it does. And
And you said you could have put on a
you know
better
what?
fight.
No excuses. You know what? No excuses. I lost the fight. I got beat to fair and square. If the referee didn't stop that fight, it would have gone 10 rounds. Chris Algieri would not have stopped me, but it would have beat
Errol
me.
Spence would have.
Errol Spence would not have stopped me. I would have just taken more punishment. There's nothing I could have done to beat him on that night. But there was so much more behind the scene that caused that. When I walked to the ring, I knew I lost that fight. I walked to the ring knowing that tonight I'm losing this fight. And that's never happened to me in 10 years as a pro fighter. That is the first time it happened. Something small. I'm putting this out for the viewers that's listening. If you're a fighter, ask yourself this question. If you in a training camp with your trainer, you guys work on a game plan, Okay, obviously, you work on a game plan. You listen to his voice. You get used to his voice. You know what to listen to. When you're in trouble, you know what he's going to shout. You know what to do. You react to his voice. On the night I fought Errol Spence, I was in training camp with the legend trainer. Much respect to him, Coach Freddie Roach, the trainer of Manny Pacquiao, Miguel Cotto. He was my trainer for 2 months.
Hall of Famer Freddie Roach.
Yes, and on the night I fought Errol Spence, my trainer could not make it to Canada. So the trainer I've worked with for 2 months could not show up. And I knew that when I was in Canada. And that just mentally destroyed me. So when I got to the fight with Errol Spence, taking nothing away from him, I lost that fight before even throwing a punch because mentally I lost that fight. I knew it. I was not in that fight. I just wanted to survive and show that Errol Spence can land the best punch because, look, he's a knockout artist. Look at him. And I just wanted to prove that no matter what, if I prove anything tonight, it's that if he lands flush on my jaw, he's not dropping me. And he couldn't. And all I had was to be taunting him, someone I'm not. But that's all I had because I wanted to somehow get in his mind and show him, is that all you got? Because that's all I had. But him knocking out Chris Algier in 5 rounds makes my loss look not so bad after. You know what's the good thing about this? I know that I wasn't the best I was, and that's motivating to me because I know that, okay, you know what? If I did give 110% and got destroyed, I would be like, okay, no ways. But I didn't.
Now, how hard was that punch? Because you said he did land flush once, right?
It didn't rock me once. No, my legs didn't. He landed flush on me a few occasions, not once. A few occasions.
But there was one good one that you were.
Not once on my jaw. Not once on my jaw did he hit me that I felt buckled or my legs gave in or I saw black. Not once. He caught me with a beautiful body shot. I could have stood on my feet, but I was winded. And the right thing to do for me was just to go down and take an 8 count. He threw a bit. If you go look at the clips on YouTube, he threw some bombs on my body, kept me standing. But there was one, you know what, you can only take so much. And he landed a big body shot right on my ribs. And I was winded. And I stood and I was like, nah, I got to take a knee because I'm out of breath.
Right.
He's a beast.
Who's hit you who's the hardest punch that you've taken?
In sparring.
Sparring.
Yeah, not even in a fight. The biggest punch I took was in sparring, and that was Canelo Alvarez.
Really?
Yeah. Kid's a beast, man. Wow, Canelo.
So
Also, I didn't show it. But when he hit me, for a few seconds, I saw like black, and I was like,
with headgear on or no headgear?
Headgear and 16-ounce gloves. I was like, what? And that's it. You know what? I was in a camp with him for 6 weeks, and kid can punch.
So let's talk about before we get into the whole Canelo story. You after.
Let's put this out there. People's going at me and like, who's this bum? This and that. They know me. Obviously, they're gonna say that because they don't know who I am. But I feel I deserve to respect as I was a former world champion, 24-2 and 1 record, IBF international champion with Freddie Roach. I beat an unbeaten fighter, Cecile McCullough in Madison Square Garden. I was the head sparring partner for Miguel Cotto when he fought Sergio Martinez. We did over 100 rounds of sparring. I was the head sparring partner. There's a reason why I was, because of who I am and what I bring to the table. I was the sparring
sorry. Because you said this, how that whole happened, the Miguel Cotto.
Yeah, you know what, I'm from South Africa. Came out to America because I've got this vision. The Lord has blessed me with a vision and a dream. And I knew that the only way I'm going to reach this is to pack my bags and leave my country, leave my loved ones behind, and come to South America and, like everyone else, chase a dream. That's what I did. I came here. I was in a gym at a gym called The Rock with Manny Robles was my trainer. And for a South African to come out here, you know, I was in a gym where they speak Mexican or Spanish or whatever. I think it's Spanish. Spanish. And we wouldn't understand each other. So I was in a very uncomfortable environment. But once we get in a boxing ring and 2 fighters square off and they spar, that is how we respect each other. After 6 rounds, either you're going to respect me or I'm going to respect you. This respect's going to be there. And that's all I did. All I could do was just keep getting in the ring and spar. My name started making it rounds. And it ended up with Freddie Roach because at that point, Miguel Cotto fought Sergio Martinez. The fight was on for Sergio Martinez for the world title at the middleweight division, and they needed a southpaw that can do what Sergio Martinez does, being cocky, hands down, flashy, mover. And Freddie Roach phoned me and asked me to come into Wildcard. I was blown away. I said yes. First thing I was yes. Got to the gym, walked into the gym, and for a kid from South Africa to walk into the gym, and the next moment you open the doors and there's all these cameras flashing, and you got Freddie Roach, the legend Freddie Roach, and Miguel Cotto in the ring. It was so much. I was like, wow, I'm here. This is big, and I knew I had to do good today.
Did you have butterflies that day?
I was a little bit nervous. Yes, I don't really get nervous anymore, but I was a little bit nervous because this was like, wow, is this real? And seeing Freddie and Miguel Cotto and all the cameras flashing, I knew that if I look good today, this might be the start of something beautiful. But if I do bad, they're never gonna phone me back. That was a beautiful start. That was a beautiful, beautiful start of everything of my journey in America. Freddie Roach asked me to assist Miguel Cotto from that day on for 6 weeks as the main sparring partner.
They signed you. You weren't signed on before that day.
No. It was right there. They were like, please, can you be back this week? 6 weeks, make yourself available, this and that. And I made myself available. And it was beautiful. After 6 weeks, one of Oscar De La Hoya's guys, Robert, I can't pronounce, I forgot his surname, but he was in the gym and he saw me work with Miguel Cotto, and he immediately asked me to please go to San Diego, if I don't mind, and assist Canelo Alvarez with southpaw sparring because Canelo was getting ready to fight Lara. Again, from Miguel Cotto to Canelo Alvarez. Amazing. Beautiful. From there, I got back to Freddie Roach said to me, knock on my door will always be open for you. I went back to Freddie, been with Freddie, went to Madison Square Garden, won the IBF belt against Cecile McCullough, unbeaten 20-0 on a Rock Nation show, Jay-Z show. We beat him on points, won the IBF International belt. The last time a South African fighter won at Madison Square Garden was 60 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, Willie to wheel. And I did it. And I won a title. So it's been a beautiful journey. I got back, and then Crawford got ready to fight Ray Beltran.
Terrence Crawford
versus Ray Beltran. And Ray Beltran and them asked me to assist with sparring. That from there on I went to Ray Beltran. Beautiful. I've recently had the pleasure to be in the company of Sugar Shane Mosley. We've sparred numerous rounds. Shane Mosley is actually fighting tomorrow night. He's fighting for the WBA interim world title, welterweight world title. The winner of tomorrow night fights the winner, rumoredly, between Sean Porter and Keith Thurman. So wow. Mosley beats whoever tomorrow night, the champion. He gets to fight either Porter or. So that's big. So right. I've been in the gym with Mosley for about 3 months. Beautiful, shared so much. Love him. He loves me. He's teached me so much. I've even had the pleasure of throwing a few punches with Victor Ortiz. So I'm not a bum. For the viewers out there that says, "Who's this bum?" I've walked my road, and I feel I deserve some attention now.
Now, two things that to touch on what you said right there. I've heard, Freddie Roach has said in the past that he had something with Pacquiao, or if you dropped him, a sparring partner, they get like $1,000. So is that
true? It's true. It's true that Freddie would tell the sparring partners to.
Is that just Pacquiao, or is it for Cotto as well?
Well, he never told me that. So.
Okay.
So it was never mentioned to me, but I believe the rumors that, and I believe it's true that. That's how you get fighters, sparring partners to give their 110% instead of being afraid. If you tell me to spar Manny Pacquiao, there's some urge of fear because he's Manny Pacquiao. But if you tell me, Chris, if you can land a right hand on Pacquiao's head clean for $1,000, you think I'm not going to go out there and try my best to do it? And that's how you motivate.
Especially with a lot of people.
That's how you motivate sparring partners to give it their all.
And a lot of people don't know sparring partners don't make that much as sparring partners. I mean, I've seen where people make like $100, a couple $100, maybe $1,000 for a week. What was that?
Yeah, it's about big names. You get about $1,000, $2,000 a week.
Yeah, and these guys are making.
But then it's
like
it's big names like a Miguel Cotto or a Canelo. You get $1,000, $2,000 a week.
And these guys are making 10, 15, 20 million per fight. And I saw there's a big disparity. Like these guys are helping you get ready for this mega fight, and you're just kind of getting.
You know what was the most memorable moment for me was when Miguel Cotto beat Sergio Martinez. Okay, I was sitting on my couch and I was like, I'm waiting for Miguel Cotto just to on live TV, just thank me because I was made so much time for him, and he didn't in the ring. Listen to this, okay? He didn't say thank you to my sparring partner Chris Vinny. I was like a little bit disappointed. I was like, oh damn, he could have just said like thank you, you
Right.
know. Miguel Cotto
Wait, how
went.
come you weren't at the fight?
It was in. I was preparing for a fight at the
Oh,
same
okay.
time. So I was in. I was in camp. I was getting ready for a fight as well, and Miguel Cotto went to his dressing room right after the ring. He went into his dressing room. It was probably like 5 minutes, and my phone rang, and it was a direct call from Miguel Cotto, telling me how much he appreciated my work and that he wants to thank me. And that meant more than anything for me because Miguel Cotto will never forget me. You know, I can walk and bump into him anywhere, and he'll know that Chris helped me.
Right, that's a great story. Kodo seems like that. Kodo's one of those guys I've never met personally, but he seems like he's like that warrior, that humble warrior on this journey.
Let me tell you this: Cotto doesn't open up to no one. You know, Cotto would come into the gym very quiet. You say, "Hi, Miguel Cotto," he'll give you a nod. He'll go like, he won't say a lot of words. But for some reason, people as me and Miguel Cotto has found a liking in each other where Cotto would talk to me and smile at me. And you'll see, I'll show you photos. Every photo me and Miguel Cotto take, he smiles. And I've had reporters texting me and say, how do you get this guy to smile? How do you get it? And you know, I think it's a mere mutual thing between respect. And when he comes to the gym with his mom, okay, his mom is always with him in the gym. And me being away from South Africa, not being with my family, not having my mother here, I think it was Mother's Day. And Miguel Cotto's mother was there. I would first, that's just how I was brought up, respect an older lady. So I would walk in and I would go greet his mother first and be very polite and, hi ma'am, this. And I think Miguel Cotto picked that up immediately that I was so nice to his mother. And he just opened up to me. What an amazing guy. He's a humble warrior, just like you said. He's a humble warrior.
Now let's talk a little Sugar Shane Mosley. You know, in his prime, he was one of the best pound for pound. I think some of those De La Hoya fights could have gone either way in their
Well, he
trilogy.
stopped. He stopped Delaware to the body, remember?
Okay,
Yeah, I
right.
think it was round 8. He stopped Delaware to the body.
But I feel like 5 years ago would have been a good time for him to retire. He's another really nice guy. I mean, have great conversation.
44 years old. Boy, can he still move.
But from a standpoint of him taking damage again, like
Yeah.
there's all the CTE
Why
in football.
why get back in all of this?
Right, you like 10 years ago, you could have went out on the top
Yes.
of the horse.
After the Mayweather fight. Let's say even then, you know, it's like you said, like 5 years ago, maybe.
Right.
All it quits. I'm still myself. I always say, you know what? I will quit boxing. Boxing will not quit me. I want to be retired at a point where I'll give up boxing before I get hurt too much. But
a lot of fighters don't know that switch
no,
because they keep
but
going.
because I now can put myself back in there and say, you know, even though I'm saying that, it is a bug that bites you, man. And if you do it for all your life, you retire, you miss what you do. You miss it. You miss it. You miss it. You miss it. You're always gonna want to get. You're gonna tell yourself, I want to get it one more shot, even though you know maybe it's not good. But once that bug bites you, it's in a fighter to fight. So you're always gonna want to get back in there. People are gonna advise you to not do it, but you're always gonna end up, I feel, make that decision where you might just overstep it. There's a very few boxers that has done it right. Lennox Lewis has done it right.
Rocky Marciano, I think he went out right on top.
Unbeaten, yeah. Mayweather, unbeaten on top. And then there's a lot of fighters that's name was so big, like big heartbreak. Roy Jones Jr. What a phenomenal boxer. But he stick too long and he's been knocked out bad the last few times. I don't know if you saw the last knockout. He got knocked out in Russia. It was too much. You know,
Right,
if
yeah.
you look at some.
Was that this
now
year?
His
Was that this year?
It's earlier this year.
Yeah.
Now that legacy of that big name, people start remembering of, wow, look at what we're talking about now. He got knocked out.
Right. When in his prime, I mean, no one could touch him, and he was just doing things.
8 times or 9 times world champion. He was just showboating and just destroying whoever.
So you agree that Mosley should have maybe retired 5, 6 years ago? Well, after the Mayweather fight, that's when you
Well,
say he should have retired.
it's hard for me to answer because I would, if I never jumped in the ring with him, I would have said yes. But being in the ring with him the last few times, you'll be surprised how good he still moves. And he gave me a hard time, and I saw him. I witnessed sparring between Sean Porter and Shane Mosley just recently. And you wouldn't say that Mosley is, and they're all over there, 44. He's still amazing in there. So being able to work with him and see what Mosley is capable of, I would say the guy still got so much. But, 8 ounce gloves, no headgear, it's a different game. What punch does it take to really put him out there? I don't know.
And especially like for me, from a standpoint, like I've seen these guys, and I've done this from looking at old interviews of people how they talk now. For instance, like a Shane Mosley, a James Toney, and I've obviously utmost respect Evander Holyfield.
Yes.
How they spoke earlier on in their careers has changed after. I mean, like Muhammad Ali, obviously with the Parkinson's due to fighting. It's
Yes.
that the brain trauma that human beings aren't supposed to take that.
It can't be healthy. It's unfortunately we love the sport. I love the sport, but you gotta be realistic about it. Getting punched against the head so many times for so long, it can't be good for you. So at some point, it's gonna take its effect, and if it doesn't, you have to thank the Lord, and you just gotta pray and hope that it doesn't happen to you. You hear the slang in the way they talk with you. Their words are slurping and
Punch drunk, right?
That's it. So and you like you just said now, Mosley and them, but you see it more in the bigger divisions, the heavier guys, because the impact so big. So you'll see it more in Muhammad Ali, the big boys. Who was the guy?
Evander Holyfield, I think
I've
James
never met
Toney.
Evander. I've met James Toney. I could hear that in him, and a guy that's is it Dokes, Michael Dokes.
I think so.
He is can't hear a word he's saying. So
And it's
there's obviously there's the bad effects, the side effects of all of this.
I mean, I actually think I've even written articles that I think boxing is more dangerous than MMA. You said there's more injuries. Yeah, I mean training injuries, but from a
Yeah.
standpoint of in a boxing match, obviously
The focus is so much on the head.
head. But if once you get here's a significant like the breaking point where if a boxer gets hurt, they can go down and take an 8 count, 8, 9 count even, and then get up and then take more damage, go
And
down and take
continue.
8, 9 count.
Yeah.
3, 2. So, I mean, depending on the rules, like is a 3 knockdown rule. Some don't have knockdown
Sometimes
rules,
doesn't have it.
right? And so they're taking this accumulated damage. Whereas MMA, when you go in, even though they're 4 ounce gloves, you
If
can
you
just
tap,
fit.
you tap. Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
you
okay.
do you? What's your thought? Do you agree with that assessment, or do you disagree that boxing is more dangerous than MMA?
Well, I get what you're saying in the sense if you talk it like that, if you speak of it like that, boxing is definitely the toughest sport. Going 12 rounds, non-stop fighting back and forth, punches to the head, like you just said, continue. It's a tougher sport. Injury, what I was talking about, injury-wise, I was like, you know what, get a bad cut over the eye, get your arm broken, or get this or that, because of the small mitts in MMA. I do get what you're saying, why boxing is such a tough sport, and I do agree with you. You're stretching it out, you're getting a beating, you're taking an 8 count, then get up, get back fighting, take another beating, go down, get back up. Where MMA, if you tap, you're out. The fight's over.
No, exactly, and
It's
that,
done
that's
in
my
2
point.
minutes, 3
Was
minutes.
it Boom Boom Ray Mancini?
That's why boxing, I'm a boxer, and I'm going to say that's the ultimate sport, man.
Like Ray Mancini, I think I forgot the guy who fought that later passed away. If they would have stopped that fight, do you remember the fight? I've seen old clips.
I don't remember.
If they
the fight,
would- I
but
mean, it
there's-
was in
there's
the
a
early
lot of
80s.
occasions where fighters would just
But if the ref would have stopped
died.
it,
Yeah.
earlier on, then maybe that doesn't happen, and that's why from that standpoint.
and from that point as well, your corner. Don't the referee's got an opportunity to stop the fight, yes, but your corner as well. So you got to make sure you got a good corner that doesn't allow his fighter to soak up too much punishment. A lot of corners, they will keep you there because of pride. Sometimes pride is not a good thing because of their pride, they would refuse to throw in the towel. Where I would throw in the towel around 2, maybe. They will let it go 4, 5, 6 because of pride. Oh, no, he'll get back. And that's your corner plays a big role as well.
Now let's get back into the Canelo hitting you the hardest. So in sparring, Canelo hands down hardest hitter punch you ever taken.
Up to me, up to now, who I faced in sparring, Canelo. I was shocked. That guy, wow. I was shocked. My hands were up, 16-ounce gloves, my hands were up. He can punch. No, I was.
You were rocked with the headgear.
I was rocked at one occasion. I was rocked, and I was like, okay, you know what? I gotta move my feet. I've got to be alert because this guy can take me at any time.
Well, because the Amir Khan fight, I thought Amir Khan won the first 5 rounds.
Oh, Amir was ahead on points.
But then it was at one punch.
It was always gonna be Amir Khan on points. The only way Canelo was gonna beat him was by knocking him out, and I knew it's coming because. Unfortunately, Canelo has shown, Amir Khan has shown through his career that he's been dropped so many times with one big punch.
Danny Garcia.
And me knowing how hard Canelo can hit, I was like, you know what? He just needs one punch. That's all he needs. And it's going to land at some point. And he did land it. What a punch. What a punch.
Did you foresee that coming? Because you said...
I saw it. I was like, I remember I said to the guy next to me, this fight doesn't go past 6.
Now, when I saw the punch, I knew Amir Khan wasn't getting up. I think whoever was calling it said, well, maybe he'll get up. But I could tell
the way he landed,
the way it went down. And did you know right away?
I knew. I said, this is it. It's done. Knowing from the history from Khan, the way he gets knocked out, I was like, this is done. This is done.
Do you think he's changed as a fighter going to Virgil Hunter?
Yes. You know what? Because I believe I know Con was with Freddie as well, and then he left to Virgil because of the tension, this and that. You need a trainer. Any fighter needs a trainer that gives him 110% instead to get better. He definitely changed. You know what? I feel he's just had so much, just been so unlucky. Even when he fought Danny Garcia, he was schooling Garcia.
Right.
He was beating Garcia.
He got caught.
Got caught with one punch. Just unlucky.
I thought there was no luck.
Huh?
There's no luck.
Yeah, true. Unlucky. Yeah, well, just that one punch, he's just couldn't take it.
Now, when Canelo fought Laura, you said you were his sparring partner. I was at the fight. I actually had Laura up on
Definitely.
points.
Me too.
I thought he won the fight. I was when they announced it for Canelo.
I
was kind of shocked.
Me too.
Although Laura,
me too.
was
me
was
too.
kind of like running.
I looked at the fight on TV and I was like, you know what, Laura won this fight, even though he was running. This is what gets me so mad. If you're a runner, if your strength is in moving and running and making your opponent miss and outbox him, if that is your strength, and my opponent's strength is coming forward like a bull, being aggressive, that is his strength. Okay, why do we take away how good the mover is? Because all you see is this guy being aggressive coming forward, but he's missing, but he's aggressive, but he's missing. That's his style. My style is moving. Why don't we compliment the mover on how well he's executed his game plan of staying away from the aggressive? Why don't we give him a compliment? Why don't we say, you know what, even though Canelo was the aggressor, let's compliment Laura. Look how good he was making Canelo miss. And that was Laura's style. And that's even in sparring when we were moving, that was the game plan. We always knew Laura was going to move. Did I think Laura won the fight? Yes, Laura definitely won that fight.
It's one of those things where
the name comes in. We know who's the superstar, who sells the tickets, who's the biggest viewer, who's the big name. Unfortunately, there's a business side as well. It's just sad.
Is that just a corrupt side of boxing?
You know what? As much as this is a sport, it's turned out to be some sort of a business as well. You know, where they go, you know what? If this goes points, you know, he's the superstar, he's unbeaten, he's the big name. Not he sells the tickets. It's always kind of gonna go. It's a risk you take. That's why I'm tired of being a risk taker. You know, that's I was signed when I came to California. I was signed with the promoter Michael King from King Sports, and I was on a 4-0 journey and. I'm currently now 6 fights in America, 5 out of 6 wins. My only loss to Errol Spence. But since the passing of my promoter, I'm in a position now where I got to take risks. Like my last fight against Claggett, I took it on 3 weeks' notice as a risk. as a stepping opponent. I'm
That's your
tired
last
of
fight,
that.
Claggett, right?
Yeah. And I took it on 3 weeks' notice. He was in training camp. I took it on 3 weeks' notice. And it's going to happen to me, keep happening, because I don't have a promoter. And I'm just tired of taking the risks.
Right. For someone you taking the fight on 3 weeks notice, how much different are you from 3 weeks in? Then say
Oh,
you got 10 week
it's
camp.
it's a 10 round fight. It's almost a 12 round fight. It's a big fight. Luckily, I'm one of those guys that I live in the gym. When I'm here, like I'm in the gym now. I don't even have a fight date. But I'm in the gym, just getting ready to stay ready, be ready for when it comes. Like when I fought Claggett, I was in the gym, even though because I knew at some point someone is going to come up with something trying to run me over. Just be ready.
Right.
And I got it in 3 weeks' notice, and I said yes, because I knew I was in the gym already.
But is there a difference of the
There's a big
shape
difference.
of the
Yes,
shape you
of
be
course.
in?
But yes, you can't get in the best shape fighting fit for a 12 round or 10 round fight in 3 weeks the way you can get in shape in 6 or 8 weeks. A good period for training camp is 6 to 8 weeks. You can't in that 3 weeks. Your main focus is going to be on, I got to make the weight.
Right.
Instead of getting fit, you're going to train to make weight. Instead of focusing on really getting better, working on skill, working on a game plan. 3 weeks, I don't like it. 6 to 8 weeks, perfect.
What about because Nate actually took the fight with Conor on I think 11 days notice. So what do you get when you in 11 days? Just weight cut or
You see, that's what your main focus is. And that's why Nate wasn't going to cut that weight. So it's just going to kill him. And let's be realistic. If you look at that fight between Nate and Conor was winning. I thought, from my point, I thought Conor was doing pretty damn well against Nate. But the bigger weight, the bigger man, the weight difference slowed him down, showed you that the way you punch, what is he, a featherweight champion?
by the way?
The way you punch on a featherweight punch, the power, the impact of a punch on a featherweight fighter to the impact of a punch on the way they fought it in that night and that did, you realize, you know what, I don't pack the punch, and you get tired because if you hit something or someone and they keep coming at you, you start doubting yourself. Your mind goes, you know what, I used to knock people out with the same punch. Now they keep coming, and that tires you. And I think that's where the whole thing changed as Conor got tired.
But as a smaller man, they brought me on Yahoo to talk about this. I thought as a smaller man, and he had a full training camp. He shouldn't have got tired.
Yes,
Is that
look. I agree, but when you train to make, I'm going to use Conor now for example, train to make featherweight. Your diet is on game plan. You're eating right. Your diet is good. You clean. You work hard. You work hard. You work hard because you're going to make the weight. Boom, boom, boom. So now he jumped up a weight division. He doesn't have to cut all that weight. He's eating all this nonsense. I mean, if I say nonsense, I mean he's not eating as clean and as bland as to
steak
make
and
feather.
potatoes?
Yeah, so now he's, it's and you got to go ask yourself on a Conor camp. You got to go into it and go, how was my nutrition on that side of the fight? Did I just blow up to make the weight and don't care, or But I don't believe in dropping weight 5 days out or 1 week out. Like drop the weight, just like I don't believe in that because your body is not used to it. You got to train your way down on training camp. You got to train your way down, drop it slowly, so that the body gets used to it. And right after the weigh-in, where a lot of fighters just blow up 20 pounds. I'm saying
Right.
20, 25 pounds. They blow up and shock their body. That cannot be good. Some fighters get away with it, like a Maidana, like a Brandon Rios. They just blow up.
Well,
Me,
Canelo too. They say he puts on like
yes.
20 pounds.
Some of them get away with it, but it cannot be good on the body. It cannot, because you function so well on the weight. Now all of a sudden you put 30 pounds and you still want to move for the next 12 rounds. Me, I weigh in at 147. The night I get in the ring, I'm about 154.
What do you walk? What are you right now?
I'm about 160, 158, 160. Yeah. But I mean,
But the thing with Conor, he didn't have to after he weighed in. He didn't blow. He just stayed where he was at.
yes, but now this is what I'm saying. When he had to make featherweight, the amount of training and effort that goes in to make that weight. You got to understand, you got to train hard to make that weight. Okay, you got to work really hard. Did he really work as hard as he usually worked? Knowing now I don't have to cut so much weight so I can get it. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he's not putting in all that effort, all that really, really hard work like he used to do to become a champion. Did he still do that even though he didn't have to cut the weight? You got to ask yourself that question. Or did he train? Yes, I was in camp, but I didn't really because I didn't have to because I have no weight problem.
Right.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. No. Yeah. The body is used to taking in these
Yeah, so
nutrients, these healthy nutrients to make 45.
So weight plays a big role. It does. I don't care.
How would you see a rematch going between the two of them?
Well, this conversation did come up with me and Conor, where I was like, "How would you feel now?" And he was very, very confident. Very confident. He says, "You know what? I know where I made my mistakes. I'm very confident that I will do so much better in the rematch. I'm so confident." And he looked confident. So I think he's learned. I know he knows where he made his mistakes, and I think he will adjust to that in the rematch, and he'll be comfortable because the big thing is he knows where he made his mistake.
Did he tell you what mistakes those were?
No. He just said, you know what, I knew what I did wrong and do this and that, and but he didn't mention it, and he said, I'm confident. I know where I made my mistakes. I'm confident.
So
I'll do better.
how do you see the rematch going if it happens?
Conor. I'm gonna go Conor because I feel he did learn from his mistake, and he knows exactly where he went wrong. Even though now you're gonna get a Nate that's gonna be in training camp. So again, it's I'm not very with the MMA like up to date with it, but I'm gonna go Conor because he looks like he's learned his lesson. He knows where to fix his problem.
Would you have a prediction? Does it go 5 rounds? Does it?
I'm just gonna
You're just picking
you know what?
straight
Since
out.
I've been working with Conor, I'm a Conor fan, so I'm always gonna be in Conor's corner, no matter what.
Now let's just get back to the Canelo because he vacated his WBC middleweight belt, which is kind of interesting. I know a lot of
It hurts
casual
me.
fans don't understand how he has a middleweight belt at 154, which is a 160-pound division, and you still
It's
probably
wrong.
don't understand this.
I still
A lot of people don't understand this. I'm
it's,
trying to walk people through.
yeah,
Okay,
but
can
it's
you
wrong.
can you explain this for people out there? What that it's to me, it's the equivalent for a UFC champion to have the one welterweight 170 belt, but to be having it at 165.
To me, it's straightforward. I just don't like that whole thing. They got this thing going lately where, like that, you're a 155 pounder and you're a middleweight division. And then you got Triple G at 160, that's champion. And okay, I want to fight for the WBC middleweight champion for the belt against Canelo. Then Canelo makes the call. Well, let's do it, but at 155. Come on. The fight is it's the middleweight division. The belt is 160. Let's fight as 160. I just don't get how they have all this power to make this a 155. I don't like it. I don't like it. Honestly, it's wrong. If you're a middleweight, then fight at the middleweight. If you want to be the middleweight champion, then fight at the middleweight division. That's straightforward. And there's a lot of people, and I think the right boxing fans and the right supporters agree with me that if you're a middleweight champion, 160 is the limit. Fight it. Come in at 160.
Now, do you think when he vacated the belt? I know the WBC was said, well, you got to face Triple G, but Golden Boy, I think, is hesitant to make that fight. But in my mind,
I think. What do you think?
I think Canelo would want. Would he said he'd fight anybody? I don't think he's scared of Triple G, but it's
No fighter again. No fighter is scared. Otherwise, we wouldn't do this. Don't tell me I'm scared to fight anyone because otherwise I wouldn't be doing this. I fight for a living. This is how I make my money. So I don't think he's scared.
But I
No.
would disagree with you on the point with, like,
No.
for instance, Ronda Rousey. I see some girls come against Ronda Rousey early in the career, and they're like, "Whoa, what did I get
No,
myself into?"
that's just nerves and obviously you go. Oh, no, you're not scared. It's you do this for a living. You're gonna get in there. It's nerves. It's if you tell me now to fight anyone, well, this is my job. If the money is right, I'll fight anyone. I'll train and I'll fight. That's just how I feel about it.
So do you think? Okay, so we're
I think there's a plan. I think, you know what, Delaware and them, this is, like I said, I think there's a plan. I think Canelo vacated because of a business plan. Because there's so much more money to be made. Okay? Because I feel the Triple G Canelo fight is going to happen. Because it's on a demand. Okay? It's gonna happen.
next.
So, no. What do I think? This is me, and you can go think about it. I think we're going to have a Canelo Lemieux next. Why? Again, double money for Delaware. To the Lemieux's Golden Boy, Canelo's
David
Golden Boy.
Lemieux.
David Lemieux is Golden Boy. Canelo's Golden Boy. So let's make that fight happen. That's money for Golden Boy, both fighters. Boom. Then the talks of Triple G is always going to be there. Everyone is still going to want to see that fight.
But it's not. I don't
So
think that Lemieux would not do 500,000 pay-per-view buys like that Khan did.
No, but it's another fight. The Triple G Canelo fight. If I tell you Triple G Canelo is going to fight tomorrow, you're going to be happy. If I tell you Triple G and Canelo is going to fight next year, you're still going to buy it.
Right.
So it's still the option is there.
From a business standpoint.
Yes.
Floyd said, I wouldn't do it either.
I think this is what we're going to see. This is just me. I think we're going to see Canelo Lemieux next. Triple G fighting whoever. I saw, if I'm not mistaken, Andre Waters called him out. Am I right?
I think Andre Ward said
no, Andre Ward called out
Golovkin.
Kovalev.
Kovalev.
What's his name? Not Andre Ward.
Sergey Kovalev.
Okay, well, someone has recently called out Triple G. But anyways, yeah. I think we're gonna see Canelo Lemieux next, Triple G against whoever, and then we'll see a Triple G Canelo.
And Triple G, he's I think 32 or 33 this year, where he's 34. He got this recent fame, so he's already been mauling these guys. So do you think because he's older than Canelo's 26, that his prime is like right now, and if it gets drawn out, I don't. It's going to be the Manny Pacquiao.
Yeah, it shouldn't be that. It shouldn't be drawn out. That's why I still maybe we might be lucky and see it either at the end of the year or very early next year. It's got to happen no later than early next year. It's got to happen, like you said. It shouldn't be dragged out too long, because then it might just lose that the real fight we would see.
Prediction for that fight?
Triple G.
Triple G.
Yeah. Why? In my opinion, he's really the bigger man. He's really the one. He's a middleweight fighter. I've met him in person. He's much bigger than Canelo. In height, he's a big man. Even though Canelo,
he's not taller than you. I've been
Triple G.
Triple G.
No, he's about my height. Just
right. Yeah. He's not
I'll show you how small Canelo is to me. I'll show you. Canelo is that devastating one-punch power, man.
Right.
Bam. Where Triple G, I feel, has got power in both hands consistently. So when he hits you with the left, when he hits you with the right, when he hits you with the left, he hits you with the right. It's power on power on power. He hurts you, breaks you. Where Canelo has got that one-punch power, boom. He doesn't always throw that power punch, but when he throws it, it's that one punch, bam. Where I feel Triple G is consistent with his power. Every punch he throws is dynamite. That's what I feel, and I feel because he's the big man, he's the real 160-pounder. I feel. They ask me, do I see a knockout? No. I want to say no. I just feel no knockout. I see Triple G beating him up, eventually landing clean on him as the fight goes on, running away there on points.
Because Canelo's never been dropped.
That's it.
But the thing is, most fighters don't fight Canelo head on.
And that's the thing. Canelo is going to come forward, not stepping back. And Triple G's he's a fighter. Oh, man.
Well, I mean, to me, I'm predicting a knockout one way or another.
It's big boys, you know.
So it's like that's for me. I mean, you're the pro.
And if the fight is at 160, which it will be, the chances of Triple G knocking out Canelo is big. Might see it.
Yeah, I can't see them going 12 rounds. And
you got two bulls going into it. And Canelo's got that mentality. I've seen it. When you hit him, he comes at you. He wants to fight. That's his mentality. He's a Mexican fighter. He comes. And Triple G,
As
same
a
thing.
Mexican trainer,
He's
Abel
clever.
Sanchez, and
But he is so clever. You know, he knows how to get the fans behind him. He's all Mexican. I saw the head on his head. I saw the jersey, and and he learns a little bit of Spanish
right.
or whatever. He's clever. So exciting fight.
I wish that this would be the fight boxing would make in
Yes,
September, which
that's it. I'm with you. I'm with you.
right. Let's talk about more in your career. Where does Chris Van Heerden go from here? What are your plans,
Um,
and what
you
do
know
you
what?
see? Especially you relocated to LA, and LA is known for the film and entertainment industry. Is that something else you want to get? Like, what's your vision?
No, my attention is boxing. I know why I came here to America and it's to follow my passion, my career, and I know my break is coming. I know it. It is starting. It's starting. My name is getting out of there, and like any other fighter, we've got dreams, and this is my dream: is to fight the bigger names in the division. I've been in the fight game 10 years now. I've been a former world champion. Um, my name is getting big, and right at this point, my promoter passed away a few months ago, and I'm without a promoter, so I'm hoping for a promoter to believe in me, pick me up, get behind me, and get me right back to the top. You know what?
Is there a name, some names that you'd want?
Absolutely, there's names. I'm at this point in my career where I've come so far where I want to be in the big fights. One name, if I can throw one name on the table, which is a great fight, which is nothing but respect to him, but I would love that fight. So it's a good fight, I think. Robert Guerrero,
The Ghost,
the Ghost. You know what?
Southpaw, another Southpaw.
Southpaw, 147, just came off a loss, been in a lot of wars. No one needs to say who he is because his name is so big. But that's the type of fighters I want to fight.
And he went 12 with Floyd.
It went 12 with Floyd, went 12 with Danny Garcia. What a fight. I was live, I was there ringside. Um, that's one name I would throw out there. There's a lot of names out there, but that's the type of fighters I want to fight. And I just hope for promoters to get behind me and believe in me.
And now since your sole focus is boxing, why did you choose LA as opposed to
I didn't choose LA.
you didn't?
No, the promotional company King Sports that signed me at the time I was in South Africa, they are based in LA. And they flew me straight in here, and this is where I was based since I arrived. So I didn't choose it. I was placed here, and it just grew to me.
Wow. So it just happened. And from being away from family, married, kids,
No marriage, no kids,
girlfriend.
no girlfriend, no girlfriend. The focus is boxing, and
So you're a really focused guy.
you know what, Pete? This is what I had. I was a world champion back in South Africa. I had the most comfortable life back home. What I mean with most comfortable life back home, I had a paid apartment. I had 2 cars. I was driving. I didn't pay for food. I had sponsor money coming. I lived happy. But my dream, my vision is bigger. You know what? I've got a saying, and this is what I live by. When I close my eyes, picture this whole playground in my head. I see what I want to achieve. Where do I get that from? That to me, there's only one answer. That's a gift from God. That shows me this is what I got for you. But in order for you to reach what I got for you, you gotta take risk and you gotta believe in me, but you gotta go work hard and you gotta do it. And everything I've so far experienced in my life is stuff that I've manifested. I've sat on my bed with my dad back home and I said, one day I want to be fighting in Madison Square Garden, Dad.
And you did
I
that.
did it. I said, one day, Dad, I want to be trained by Freddie Roach. I was trained by Freddie Roach. I said, Dad, one day, all I want to do, and I'll be happy, is get in the ring with superstars like Miguel Cotto and just spar and see how I would do. I've done it. I've manifested it and it happened. And I still see it. I want to give hope. I want to give back. And I want to be that inspiration for the kids back home in South Africa because for some reason, growing up back in South Africa as a kid, we don't believe that we are good enough to be in the circle of the top athletes in America around the world. We just don't. We just don't believe in ourselves. And I want to be that motivation to the kids to look up to and say, you know what, Chris is there. He's a South African. He can do it. But I want him to see it through my faith. It's because he walks with faith. And that's why I'm here. So
Not
what's
by
next?
sight.
Not by sight. I've learned a long time ago that, you know what, you got to walk by faith. You got to pray, 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 and believe that the blessing is coming. You gotta have faith. Sometimes in life, faith is all you got. You're a man alone, and all you got is, Lord, I put it in your hands. And everything I've talked about, if I look back I said to my dad, I said, Dad, one day I want to fight in California, man. That's where I want to fight. I'm fighting in California. So I know my day is coming. I know it's coming. All I got to do is keep that faith and keep in the gym. And I mean, this last 2 weeks, it's just blown up so quick. So and it only now started sinking in. I was like, wow. You know what? If I look back, it's like 2 weeks. I said, the Lord's got a plan. I said, because I walk with faith, I refuse for people to tell me I'm not good enough. I'm not the best. And let's be realistic. I'm realistic about this. I'm not the best. But through hard work, I can compete against the best. And my name can be out there. And when one day I want to be the kid that took that risk and the kids back home in South Africa look up to me. For what I've done this almost 2 years in America, my name back home in South Africa is just blown up. And now the latest with Conor,
Right.
I can't wait to go back home and visit because it's just blown up. But then again, it's just because I walk with faith and I know the Lord is going to bless me. I want to make you think about this. I was with a very good friend of mine about a week ago, Mr. Collar. And he said to me, he told me his story, and he said to me, you know what I do every morning in the mornings when I wake up? I wake up, I get out of my bed, I open my front door, and when I open my front door, I asked the Lord, I said, Lord, what are you going to bless me with today? Give me whatever you got for me to handle. Throw all the blessings you got on my shoulders today because I want to show you I can carry them. Wake up with that attitude. Instead of waking up in the morning and go, oh man, I'm not in a good position, this and that, and complain about all these things in life. Start challenging. Challenge the Lord. I challenge the Lord to throw all the blessings He can throw on your shoulders. And challenge Him to give it all for yourself to carry. And then tonight, when you go to bed, I want you to sit and think how many times have you been blessed today. And you'll see how lucky you are. Not that I live in luck. How blessed you are with all the blessings. And this is just part of. I woke up this morning. Look where I'm sitting. This is the Lord is blessed with my. It's amazing. It's just amazing.
Right. Do you want to have a family though? I mean,
Absolutely. Oh man,
you want family, kids?
I've got 7. We're 7 boys, 6 girls. I come out of a big family. I'm uncle to 26.
Holy.
I'm uncle to 26. I'm one of 3 kids that in the family that doesn't have kids yet, or not married, and.
Does she have to be from South
She
Africa,
exists.
or
She's
is it a California girl?
No, there's a girl back home in South Africa that we're not dating, but
Okay, so there's
but
somebody.
there's someone, and you know what? It's just tough with the situation I'm in, being in California at the moment, not home. You know what? There's ways to work about it, and you can get on a plane. We live in a world where there's Skype, and you can get on a plane. So there's someone. Do I want kids? I can't wait to one day be a family man. I love kids, and I'm excited for the future.
Before we get you out of here, I mean, this has been great. I mean, there's a lot of people that I've interviewed and I've come across that aren't well spoken, or there's a lot that are well spoken too and that can carry it on. But I mean, now that you've got that one chance, not to quote Eminem, you sometimes get that one opportunity in the limelight. But I feel like you're thriving in it. But so I'm gonna throw out some quick hitting questions, and then we'll wrap this up. So. Name someone in boxing, a boxer that you really dislike, you detest, you dislike, you can't stand.
Wow. Well, I've got respect for every fighter stepping in there.
Not from a respect.
I know what you're saying.
Not
There's
from a
someone, I
respect.
know
It's
what
just
you're
someone like,
saying.
you know what? Either you've met this person or you've the
Adrian
mannerisms-
Broner.
Okay. I don't think a lot of people would have them.
Adrian Broner. That's okay. That's Adrian Broner.
Now, one person that the person that you had the utmost respect for in boxing.
My idol. Does that count? Sugar Ray Leonard.
Sugar Ray Leonard.
Met him on 3 occasions. He's introduced me to his family. He's my boxing idol since I was a kid, and I've had the pleasure to meet his whole family. Sugar Ray Leonard.
Best pound for pound boxer of all time.
Roy Jones.
Roy Jones. Interesting. I've seen him on top of someone else's on I think Dan Rayfield's list as well. Even in lieu of his latter career. One, well, you already mentioned the person that you would want to fight next. What would happen? You get in a ring with Floyd Mayweather. What happens?
Realistically, I get beaten. Do I survive? With the right training camp, I can run around and make it out there, but I get beaten.
Superman or Batman?
Superman.
Kind of interested. Did you watch the movie?
Yes.
It was weird how bad. I thought the movie was terrible, but
I expected more.
favorite food to eat in here and then in South Africa.
South Africa's got let me tell you this. South Africa's got the best food overall.
Really?
Yes. America doesn't get close.
What kind of food is it though? Like South Africa?
It's just, you know what, the difference is people make food in South Africa. You come out of a house where your daughters are being taught how to cook and look after men. So when food are made, it's made with love. It's made with real.
You can taste love.
What I mean is they put passion into it. You know, the food. So my mother's macaroni and cheese is the best. In California, I spend most of my days in Whole Foods. That's where I found out the healthiest food. I go to Whole Foods, get my salmon prepared in the bag. I love my salmon.
Last question. Well, two more quick questions. Boxing, MMA, in the street fight. What is more conducive in a street fight?
MMA.
And last, you're on the very first episode of an MMA-based video podcast, Tapout and Chill. How do you feel?
Amazing. You know what? I'm blessed to sit here, bro. I'm honestly blessed, happy, and so honored.
And you're at the Heat 001. Can they find you on Instagram the same?
Twitter at the Heat 001, and Instagram it's Chris Van Heerden 001. I'll just put in my name, Chris Van Heerden.
We've done this for just over 90 minutes. It went by quickly. We appreciate your time so much for coming in studio, and we wish you the best, and we'll be keeping track of your career.
Thank you. This was nothing but fun.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
That's Chris Van Heerden. Make sure you follow him on Twitter, and make sure you stay tuned for Daily Dose of MMA Now coming later today.